You know, I wish there was a way that I could let her know that we won. We did it.
Much in the kind of 10 to 15%. At one point there was going to be a tag where you opened a sort of body bag drawer and there was the Vision. Kevin kind of talked to me and said, I got to pull the shot. And I was like, oh, because I really wanted that profit participation.
You set the terms, you can change them.
All right. Then he called me up and said, can you come into the office? And you know, when the boss calls you up and your contract's over and he's called you into the office, you kind of know exactly what that's about. And I thought I was going to get kicked off the case, you know, so I went in and I didn't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. So I said, look, it's been a great run and I love you guys and no hard feelings. And they went, wait, are you quitting? And I went, no, aren't you firing me? And they went, no. And I went, oh yeah, okay. And then we're going to put you in the show. And I went, I'm in.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my new Wandavision Avengers Endgame post-credit scene for that deleted scene that Paul Bettany just explained, which pretty much explains what's happening during WandaVision. It completely sets up the show. So there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and revelations here. We'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I'm doing videos for all the WandaVision episodes. There'll be 9 total this season. We're also doing the Disney Plus giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Easter egg from the show so far on the video. Careful for spoilers for everything that's happened during WandaVision so far, if you haven't seen any of the episodes yet. But the big thing here is that Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany revealed that there was originally going to be an Avengers Endgame post-credit scene. That's what they talk about, a tag scene, a post-credit scene setting up WandaVision Episode 1 and just the series in general, where Scarlet Witch, after they have Iron Man's funeral scene and she's talking to Hawkeye about Black Widow and Vision being all sad, I think that they do know that we won. I think they do know out there somewhere. After the Avengers all go their separate ways, back to their homes, back to their families, the ones that do have families, she goes to Nick Fury's storage facility where the new SWORD agency has taken all the most powerful and dangerous items from the Avengers vs. Thanos final battle scene. Everything of interest, everything that belonged to the Avengers that's left over from the battle, like Iron Man's nano Infinity Gauntlet, they're not going to leave that lying around. They're going to lock that up somewhere tight. All the Avengers' old weapons, their extra gear, all of Iron Man's extra suits, because the Avengers base was destroyed, so it doesn't exist there anymore. When it comes time for Avengers 5 and Nick Fury puts another team together, they'll have a new base somewhere else. Like the SWORD space station is a good start because we're going to be dealing with more galactic threats during Marvel Phase 4 and Marvel Phase 5. But just for reference, they actually didn't need to store any of Thanos' weapons, his parts, or ships, because there would have been a lot of debris from Thanos' army as well, a lot of dangerous stuff. They didn't need to pick up any of his dangerous trash because that all got dusted when Iron Man snapped the Infinity Gauntlet. One really easy way to clean up the battlefield, or at least half of the stuff from the battlefield. He didn't dust any of the Avengers stuff. And Nick Fury's SWORD agency in the MCU is just a little bit different from the comics. They changed what the acronym means for SWORD. On WandaVision, if you zoom in and enhance and you read the logo on the back of the beekeeper suit here, technically this isn't a beekeeper suit, this is like a hazmat suit that just changes into a beekeeper suit when he crosses the threshold of the reality. You also see the SWORD logo on the screen of the person that's watching all this play out. I think this is going to be Darcy's character from the Thor movies, but she's watching and monitoring what's happening inside this reality and looking at it as if it were an actual TV show because that's how things are playing out inside the bubble. Like she's literally sitting there watching Nick at Night episodes starring Scarlet Witch and Vision and the townspeople. There are actually real townspeople there that are being manipulated as part of this reality. You zoom in and enhance on the acronym logo here, and it says Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. And Vision is a sentient weapon inside the MCU, both metaphorically and literally, because he's a sentient machine with crazy power levels. So Paul Bettany is basically saying to Elizabeth Olsen here, I love the way she's surprised by some of this too, that what happened before the events of WandaVision Episode 1 is basically Scarlet Witch, sick with grief, just unable to handle it, in declining mental health, gets the amazing, wonderful idea that she'll just take Vision, steal Vision from SWORD and Nick Fury, the government, just go find where they're storing him in his body bag, pull it out of a drawer, and just kind of walk off, drive off with a dead person next to her. If you're not a big comic book reader, this is not abnormal for Scarlet Witch. Some of the most seminal, important Scarlet Witch comic book stories are about what happens when she goes a little bit crazy. And that's what sort of leads her into the House of M storyline and her big No More Mutants very famous comic book line, because she just completely loses it. So Scarlet Witch hatches this plan, probably with some help from other characters like Agatha Harkness, Early Theory, where she tries to reactivate Vision after she steals his body, but because he doesn't have the Mind Stone anymore and so much of his personality was tied up in that, they do the White Vision comic book Easter eggs, where he comes back, but he's this cold, unfeeling robot version of himself who doesn't really care about Scarlet Witch, doesn't remember falling in love with her, or anything about their relationship before Thanos killed him during Avengers Infinity War to take the Mind Stone. In the comics, the reason why he came back that way is because they didn't use Wonder Man's brain patterns to give him his personality. There are a lot of Wonder Man Easter eggs on WandaVision so far. I'll start pointing them out as we see them in episodes. But you look in the background here of a lot of these behind-the-scenes shots, and you see Wonder Man plastered all over the place. Nathan Fillion actually played a version of Wonder Man during Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but a lot of those scenes wound up on the cutting room floor just because James Gunn said they didn't fit into the movie the way he wanted them to. So technically, we do actually have a Wonder Man inside the MCU, and he's played by Nathan Fillion, but I'm not expecting Nathan Fillion to show up on WandaVision. So if we see a version of Wonder Man on WandaVision, it'll probably be somebody else. But within the context of WandaVision, as this is all sort of spinning up into the events of Episode 1, someone probably takes advantage of Scarlet Witch's powers by telling her that she can bring Vision back, her version of Vision as he was, make him whole again if she creates this alternate reality where she can use her reality warping powers to make things exactly how she wants them to be, change anything she wants on the fly as if she were a god. There was this line of dialogue during episode 2, right at the beginning, where they're practicing with a special box with the Mind Stone design on the front that looks like an Infinity Stone. So it's basically like a version of Vision's box from Avengers Age of Ultron, the box that he literally was created in and came out of. When he's talking to Scarlet Witch, he says he's going to bring her back exactly as she was before, and she's like, yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. As if she's sort of talking to us, the audience. I'm trying to bring him back exactly the way he was inside this reality.
For I, Illusion, vow to bring you back exactly as you are.
Well, you're back to yourself, and that's all I care about.
There's also that scene later in the episode, during episode 2, where Dottie starts bleeding. She had started to get into it with Scarlet Witch, saying, I've heard things about you and your husband, bad things. In the context of the episode, I think that was more of a communism reference, like she's trying to accuse them of being communist because this is Cold War era when this is happening during the 1960s. But Scarlet Witch misreads the situation and thinks that she's actually trying to out her as being one of the Avengers, and she knows what's really going on with her manipulating this reality, and she tries to reassure Dottie, saying, I don't know what you've heard, but I'm not trying to hurt anyone. We're not trying to hurt anyone here, as if she knows what's really going on inside this reality. In Early Theory, Agatha Harkness here knows what's going on because she clearly seems like she understands everything isn't normal the way they write her scenes in dialogue. Like she knows that Scarlet Witch is literally and metaphorically the star of the show, quote unquote, because Agatha knows this is an alternate reality playing out like a sitcom TV-based reality. In Jimmy Woo, the Sword agents who are calling out to her through the radio, this is Jimmy Woo's voice from Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's an FBI agent, but he sounds like he's working with the Sword agents. They don't know that she's the one that actually stole Vision's body, and they're actually here at this site studying all this, monitoring all this, because they think that some Marvel villain has stolen Vision's body and is holding Scarlet Witch hostage. Wanda, who's doing this to you? Like they think that she's being held against her will. When really Scarlet Witch is the one doing a lot of this herself, but it's such a huge leap from her going in Avengers Endgame, crushing Thanos with her telekinesis and energy blast, to creating a full-blown House of M alternate reality in the MCU, the MCU's version of a House of M story, that there probably had to be somebody or multiple other entities that helped her do this or gave her the idea that she could do it. And that's probably where Agatha Harkness and her mystery husband Ralph, that she keeps referring to, come in. I know everybody has their Mephisto theories. There have been a lot of Mephisto Easter eggs on the series so far. Ralph is one of the nicknames that Mephisto goes by in the comics, and I believe that Ralph is also the name used to refer to the devil during the Lord of the Flies book. That's a story where a bunch of kids get trapped on an isolated island by themselves and have to survive, and Dottie and the townspeople during episode 2 keep referring to children Like they say, for the children, when you notice there's actually no children anywhere in the town, at least not until Scarlet Witch gets pregnant.
Support Westview Elementary for the children.
Yeah, it's totally not creepy when they all say it in unison like that together. So early theory, Scarlet Witch is the one in control of this House of M reality, the star of the show, but Agatha Harkness and whoever she's working with, Mephisto or someone else, may be the main villain of Doctor Strange 2, maybe that's Nightmare, maybe it's someone else. Some major Marvel cosmic villain, they're using Scarlet Witch, manipulating her to use her powers to meet their own ends. Everyone post all your theories about how Scarlet Witch took Vision's body in the comments below. And in related Marvel news, Marvel just dropped a new trailer with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I'll explain what's going on during that. There's a whole bunch of bonus content in my WandaVision episode 3 video we'll post on Friday just like normal. So make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss any of those videos. And I'll just keep doing the Disney Plus giveaway in all my WandaVision episodes. Everyone click here for my full WandaVision episode 1 and episode 2 video, and click here for The Boys season 3 teaser trailer with Jensen Ackles and learn about the big Hero-gasm announcement. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.